Good afternoon, everyone. Long time no speak. I'm back at it again, carving a stamp for you all. Well, actually, this is for someone in particular. My friend Danny ordered a custom stamp for my Etsy shop. So that's what we're working on today, a little carving of Daisy and Lucky from Animal Crossing, holding hands, because look at how precious they are together. I know it's been a minute. As you guys know, I just started a full-time job, which is super great. I love it a lot. I feel like I don't sound like I'm serious, but I'm having a ton of fun doing it. It's just also really exhausting. So it's been a little difficult for me to find the energy to work on creative projects, and then when I do, getting everything set up so I can record it, and so there's lighting, and I'm working in a space where I can set whatever I'm working on a table in front of me rather than in my lab. It's just tricky, you know. It's just been a little tricky for me, but I decided to sit down today since I'm off work today and home alone with my kitty. I decided to sit down and work on this stamp on camera. As you can see, I had already started this stamp, carving it, drawing it, all that stuff before I started recording. I worked on this stamp earlier this week. I drew it up, got the design approved, and transferred it to the stamp pad, and then I went ahead and did most of the outlining of the carving, especially the letters, which is really tricky. I did most of that off camera, but here I am finishing it up. And you did see me working on Daisy's little pattern dress, which was the most difficult part of this entire stamp. I was so stressed that I was going to cut through one of those skinny little lines and goof it all up, but you know, I managed to get through it pretty safe and sound, all things considered. Yeah. So that's my little Daisy and Lucky stamp just for Danny. Yeah, I feel like it's been so long since we sat down and chatted, y'all. I don't know why this feels like my little podcast, because I never end up talking about the stamp. It's just like, watch me carve the stamp and watch me talk about something else. I'm so sorry. So I do have some updates that I'll talk about now, and then I'll get into whatever gibberish I want to talk about later. I have some movies and stuff I want to talk about. So as many of you know, my mom owns a stationery shop here in Washington that I used to work at before I got this full-time job, and I'll be moving some of my merchandise in there, which is really exciting. It's the first time I'll have my products in like a brick and mortar establishment, so I'm excited to see how well they do in person compared to how they do online. I think I'm mainly just going to put buttons in there because I don't really have anything else that fits a stationery shop. Yes, I could print some t-shirts, but that's not really the vibe, you know. It's mainly stickers, stamps, stationery, and there are buttons that we sell already, so I just thought that would make the most sense. Maybe when I figure out a better work-hobby balance, I'll be able to, you know, put together some carved stamps to sell in there. We'll see. I'm open-minded to the possibility. I'm not sure what will come of this. I'm excited though, like I said. And I'll definitely post pictures once I figure out like the box I'm gonna put them in, the way I'm gonna design it and style it. I have not even thought about that, and Lord knows I need to get working on some buttons too if I'm gonna be doing that. I've also been writing more letters recently, but kind of the same situation as with stamps, that it's kind of tough to get it all set up to film. I did film myself typing a letter on my typewriter to my boyfriend's parents that I was going to post. I was thinking about not including that much voiceover and letting you guys just chill out and listen to the beautiful slamming typewriter noises. I sure enjoy listening to that, so maybe not for the whole video, but for part of it I was thinking about some typewriter ASMR. Other than that, I haven't been doing that much creatively. I have been watching some movies and rewatching some TV shows. Skylar and I have been rewatching You. It's rewatching for me. He's already seen the first season and then watched like the first 2 episodes of the second season and then stopped, which is so sad. And it's October, perfect time to watch a stalker show. So I've convinced him to go ahead and rewatch it with me. Plus I just love it. I love Penn Badgley. We also ended up watching John Tucker Must Die, a classic 2006 movie. A just absolute classic. If you have not seen it, you must watch it because it has Penn Badgley in it. That's why we watched it. That's not why you need to watch it. You need to watch it because it's just hilarious and a huge part of my childhood. I have a friend who we used to watch that movie all the time together. But so there's my first movie rec. John Tucker Must Die. We also watched The Lighthouse a couple weeks ago, which I may have mentioned, with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, which I'm going to be honest, I hated it while I was watching it, and then it ended, and I was like, wow, I loved that movie. Which happens to me more frequently than you would think, where I just do not like a movie while I'm watching it, and then I think about the movie afterwards, and I'm like, that was a great movie. I loved watching it, but I didn't love watching it while I was watching it. I completely recommend it. It's kind of tough. The language is kind of difficult. That might be why I had so much trouble with it. But I think the cinematography is really good. It's shot in black and white. It's really fun. Super rainy. I just really enjoyed it. While Skylar and I were on our Paths kick, we also decided to watch The Devil All the Time, which has Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, one of the Skarsgårds, I think the son Skarsgård, whichever one that is. Not the one from Mamma Mia. That one was super good. It's kind of really depressing, so take of that what you will. I really enjoyed it. The poor British boys trying to do southern accents, pretty pitiful, but kind of fun. Also, Dudley Dursley's in it. The actor who played Dudley Dursley is in it, and I didn't know that was him until after the movie ended. I was like, that guy was so amazing. I have to look him up and see what else he's been in. And of course, his first credit on IMDb was as Dudley Dursley. If it tells you anything about how much we like this movie, Skylar and I watched it on a Wednesday night, and then the next night we were trying to figure out what to watch. What did we choose to watch? We chose to watch The Devil All the Time again. 2 nights in a row. So I loved it. It's like a psychological thriller. It's really a lot of fun. Fun, maybe not the right word. My mom was horrified by it. So if you're into psychological thrillers, though, I couldn't recommend it more. And then the last movie we've watched recently that I need to talk about to someone, even though I've talked about it to several people, but I need to talk to more people about it more, was Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you've never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, what are you doing? It's my favorite movie of all time, period, full stop. I've danced around admitting that that's my favorite movie of all time because it's silly and it's amazing, but it's silly, and people always try to have serious favorite movies. But the truth is, I have loved that movie since the first time I watched it when I was like 8 years old, and every time I watch it, I have the same joy I had watching it the first time. I can basically do the movie along with Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, so it's such a joy. It's from 1989, the original. You have to watch the first two before you watch this most recent one. So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure came out in 89, and then the sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, came out in 91. I guess I should explain what these movies are about. It's about Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters as high school students who are going to fail their history class until they get a time machine brought to them from the future by George Carlin. And they're told that they need to pass their history report because their band is going to save the world. It's going to unite the universe and end suffering for all. So then they go throughout time and have an excellent adventure gathering historical figures so they can pass their history report. It's amazing. It's so good. The costuming is incredible. The writing is so funny. It's a cult classic. It's so good. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the sequel, came out in 91. It's all right. It's fine. It's funny. Not as funny as the first one. I still do enjoy the second one. I've only seen it like 1.5 times. And so that brings me to Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was released this year in 2020. What is that? Almost 30 years after the second one was released. And, oh, guys, I was so scared to watch this movie because I love the first one so much. It means so much to me. I was terrified to watch this movie because what if it was awful? And what if it was so bad it ruined the first one for me? Not possible, but I had so many expectations. They've been saying they were going to do a third one for years and years and years, like since the second movie came out. And Skylar kept saying, do you want to watch it? Do you want to watch it? And I just kept chickening out and saying, no, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it. Finally watched it, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. It was about as good as I could have asked it to be. Was it as good as the first one? No. There's no way it was ever going to be as good as the first one. But it was the perfect way to end the trilogy. Like I said, this next weekend, you guys, you have got to marathon these 3 movies. They are so good. If you want to know anything about me, you need to watch those movies because they are stylistically very influential in my life. And so, yeah, those are the movies I've been watching, which, if you know anything about me, I really like movies. I really like to talk about movies. Which brings me to the last thing I want to talk about, which is I need some book and poetry recommendations. If you guys have any recommendations, especially for poetry books, I would love to hear them. I'm really trying to get into poetry. I have enjoyed poetry I've read in the past, but never as much as I've enjoyed novels. I don't know. I really want to get into poetry. It feels like this untapped source of content that is like so foreign to me. I'm completely open-minded, probably not going to be really into like sappy love poetry so much. So if you have recommendations that are kind of outside of that area, that would be awesome. Like I said, if it's really good, if it's really good, I'll trust you and I'll try anything, but it's going to be really good if it's lovey-dovey stuff. I'm sorry. And then book recommendations. I've started like 3 books in the last couple months, and I read the first 15 pages and I'm just like, nah, I just can't do this. I don't know why. I've just really been struggling to get back into them. So if you've got any recommendations for that as well, I would love to hear it. I'm really into sci-fi fantasy. I'm also into urban fantasy, but again, I'm really willing to read anything except for really romance novels. I'm pretty open-minded though as far as fiction goes. I'll even take some nonfiction if it's really good. I just want to get back into it. Oh, and look at that. What perfect timing. I just finished cutting out the Lucky and Daisy stamp. So here I'm going to do a little test print of it and realize all the problems with it. Once I slap it on there. I still have to cut out the other 2 stamps that you saw in that block and I need to finish carving the furniture leaf. But yeah, I really wanted to work on the actual puppy dog stamp today. I was really in the mood to sit down and watch some true crime YouTube videos. Or rather, listen to some true crime YouTube videos and get my carving tools deep into this carving block. So yeah, that's what I worked on today on my day off. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you have any recommendations, leave them below. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for watching.